Hey guys, so for my basics in watercolor video, not that I'm an expert in watercolors, but I'm going to teach you guys what I know, and I've had several of you request for me to just go over watercolors and how I use them, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. And then in the rest of these upcoming series, I'm going to show you how I incorporate them into my project life and scrapbooking, card making etiquette. So these are basically cake watercolors, or I mean, that's basically the term for them, and these are very cheap watercolors I picked up in Michael's, and they're basically just your average cheap watercolors. This is what I recommend as a starter, because especially if you're not someone who dabbles much in painting, or you don't know how much use you're going to get out of them, start with something basic. I believe this was like $5, and it's great because you're not investing too much, but you're getting to try it out and seeing how you like it and if you'll really get use out of it, which I personally think you will, but you don't know till you try it. The next type of watercolors that I'm going to be talking about, because I just want to let you know what I have, is liquid watercolors. I tend to have, I have 3 different types of watercolors that I use. Liquids, I have about, let's see, about 6 of these liquid ones. The reason I like these liquid ones is because you can basically drip them. Any of you guys who have seen my past watercolor type videos or where I'm creating things, this has a little eyedropper type of, I don't know if that's the precise name, but it's like a little dropper. So you can kind of make that droplet effect that I really love. So I really love the fluid ones for that. These work exactly like these in the sense that, you add water to them, and the water basically dilutes the colors. Watercolors, for the most part, always look darker but dry lighter, and as you work with your watercolors, you're going to get a sense of that. Watercolors are also translucent, so you're not going to get the type of look you would get from using, let's say, an acrylic paint, such as, Americana, or any other, even if it's a very good brand of acrylic paint, it's usually not translucent. Watercolors, you get a translucent type of effect. And it's more like, you kind of, at least for me, I like to start with the lights and then work in the darks usually, because once you put it down, you can't take it off, so sometimes you just need to build over it. If it's too light, you can always add more color. Then I'm going to talk about also these tube ones. I decided to get these because I really wanted to just try them out. I've seen other people use tube watercolors, and I just wanted to see what it was all about. And this also works just like these in the sense that you're adding water to these and you're kind of mixing them up. You're not going to use it straight from the tube. You're going to probably want to use a palette for these. I could use them right on top of this board, but usually just to prevent messiness, I would use even a plastic plate and use that as a palette, unless you have a palette, which I know palettes are pretty cheap. And you just put a little dab of this in some water, and you don't need very much of this, and it goes a long way. I also suggest that when you're using watercolors, you have a little jar for cleaning off the brush and another jar for when you're actually going to mix the paint, so you don't cross-contaminate the colors and end up getting a color you really didn't want. That's just the basics of watercoloring. There's more to it, but I don't necessarily go crazy with watercoloring. I use it, you guys know how I use it with my scrapbooking and things like that. Also, the papers you're going to need. I tend to use a lot of 80-pound to 110-pound paper for my watercolors, but then I also have watercolor paper. This one's watercolor paper, and you can see the difference because watercolor paper tends to have like a texture to it, as you can see there. As far as thickness, this one looks slightly thicker, but I've used this one for watercolor and it's held up very well. So I can't complain as far as that's concerned. I usually cut out some different little segments of paper for myself and have them pre-ready for my watercoloring. Something that you can pick up is a watercolor basically book, and you can cut papers out of here whenever you need them, or you can use this. This was fairly cheap. I forget exactly how much it was, but it was at Michael's, and you can use a coupon for this as well. And then I also picked up some Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock, and it comes with 20 pieces in it. And this I just like because it's slightly thinner than this Strathmore watercolor paper, so whenever I'm die cutting anything, it just makes it a little bit easier to cut through. But that's up to you what you want to use, but either one of these works. And also regular 80, 110 pound paper pretty much works. You just want to be careful with the amount of water you're using so that you don't get as much warping, but you tend to get some warping either way, and it depends on how much that matters to you. To me it doesn't, because if it ends up going in an album or something, it's gonna lie flat either way. So yeah. Hey guys, so for the beginning of this video I didn't time lapse it, but for this part I am, just for the sake of time and to make it easier for you guys to watch. Right now I'm just using a mini mister and spraying into my little watercolor palettes. You can totally do this and this will not mess up the palettes in any way. They dry and become normal once again, just so you know. I have my separate bowl of water that you can see, which I use to clean off my brush in between certain colors, and also a piece of paper that you don't see on the side for dabbing off when I use really dark colors. Right now I'm literally just creating some flower petals. There's really no wrong or right way to watercolor or to paint, in my opinion. It's really about what you like and what you enjoy. And if anything, sometimes when you're messy and it's not perfect, it actually looks better, especially with watercolors. And keep in mind that this is gonna dry lighter than And now I'm just going ahead and adding some more details to the flowers. Once I got them arranged how I liked, I added some black. Now I'm going ahead and adding some of that kind of skin / peachy color that comes in with this pad, this watercolor pad. And I'm just doing whatever looks right to me, because like I've said before, there really is no wrong or right way to do this, and I can't stress that enough. And actually sometimes the messier the better, and I actually really love the way it turned out. So for this card we are going to be doing script, but first I'm going to do basically a faux dripping effect, which is basically like a fake dripping effect. I like the way it looks, and you can always do this with actual liquid watercolors, which I also have, but I just wanted to do it with my watercolor palette for the sake of this video, because I wanted to show how versatile it really is. And I am going to be doing the same script on this card, which is why this part of the video is called the script part, but I just wanted to show you guys how I created this effect in case any of you guys were wondering, since I did post this on my Instagram and as well as Facebook, and there's going to be links to all that below in case you guys aren't following me yet. And for the script part of it, I want to emphasize that you don't need an expensive brush. I'm literally twisting that around in my fingers to get more of a point on the brush, because it is a cheap brush that comes with this pad. And by all means, if you can get an expensive brush, go ahead and do that, but I'm just doing it with this cheap brush just to show that you can. Literally, I'm dipping it into the black, which I've made sure to saturate with enough water, and I'm just literally going and writing the letters. I am thinking about the letters as I'm writing them and thinking about the shape and how I want them to look, so that's something to keep in mind. And even if you aren't great with handwriting, or you don't think you are, you know, it's just a matter of like practicing and kind of working with the letters and seeing what you like. Maybe do it with a piece of scratch paper at first, so that you can correct anything you don't like. I really didn't even practice this at all. I just kind of went for it. I tend to kind of like my little scribble handwriting, so I just wanted to write it down. And for me, I mean, if it's going to go in my, let's say, Project Life album or my mixed media journal, I want it to be a reflection of me, so I'm alright with it being messy, or the words not necessarily being perfect, because that's me, you know, and that's just how I want it to look, and I'm alright. So it all depends on the look you're going for, but I'm just writing the script using the black and watercolor, and I am going over it slightly on certain parts. Again, I think I do that off the video if it seems like it's getting a little too light, because as you see it drying on the top letters, it's looking less like deep black and more of like a muddled gray. So you can always go back over it with the watercolors to deepen the color and use less water to get a more saturated look. And I really love this, and I hope you guys do too. And if you're enjoying these type of series, please feel free to comment, like my videos, and just, you know, let me know, because I love to hear from you guys, and I do read every one of the comments. And I chose this saying because I believe I saw it on a website of some sort, and I really liked it because I felt like it referred to me. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this series, and please like these if you want me to do more. Thanks guys, bye!